A Gay and a Non-Gay is a podcast from James Barr and Dan Hudson. It's a bit filthy. Soz.
Welcome to A Gay and a Non-Gay. I am Dan Hudson. He is James Barr.
I'm James Barr.
Don't forget you can get in touch anytime. We are us at gayandongay.com.
You do a different voice when you do admin. You do a funny voice.
Well, no, it's just my professional voice. So I know that you think that's funny, so every time I go and do some admin, I'm like, oh, here we go.
It is funny, though, because you're like, don't forget, you can tweet. You a lot more. That's it. I've noticed. Like, you pretend you're not doing admin. That's where my issue is. You, like, lie. You're trying to sound natural, so you deliberately put pauses in, but they're in the weirdest place.
What do you mean they're in the weirdest place?
Don't forget, you can contact us at any time. Tweet.
But that's better than stopping everything and being like, don't forget, you can get in touch like you do.
Don't.
Mega voiceover, man. Don't forget, you can get in touch at Gay and A. Like, it's better to be.
That's not what I sound like. I'm going to do it now. Hey, everyone, don't forget you can get in touch with us by tweeting at Gay and A. We're also on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Send us a wave.
Yeah.
Send us a wave.
Welcome
to A Gay and a Non-Gay.
Okay. This is something I really don't want to talk about, actually. But I think it's really important that we do. I didn't tell you about my last New York trip yet.
Did you do the pizza tour?
No. No, I didn't do the pizza tour, Dan. So last time I went to New York, and trigger warning, this is going to be one of those stories. I had unprotected sex with a few guys.
What, like one after the other?
Yeah.
That's fucking dumb, isn't it?
Yeah, and I wasn't on drugs. This isn't a chemsex thing. I think it was in December. I think I was just like, obviously I've talked about this a lot with friends and stuff, so I'm going to sound very rehearsed, but I think what happened, and this is so bad, Dan, I broke up with that guy. So in my head, I was like, well, I can't have a relationship, so I'll just do this. And for me, and I know this sounds heavy, but this is kind of how I feel about that moment, that decision. It almost kind of feels a bit like self-harm for me.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely is that. That's what it felt like.
It's also, like, incredibly irresponsible.
What do you mean irresponsible?
Well, is it a responsible thing to do to have unprotected sex with anyone?
For gays and non-gays?
Yeah.
Yes. It is, yeah.
By the way, I should rephrase that. You know, if you're in a relationship or whatever, or you know that you're having unprotected sex with someone who is, and you both agreed to that, and you know that you're both, you know...
Well, I mean, that's a different conversation.
No, I know, but I'm just making sure that everything is covered so I don't get any...
Well, no, I think it's fine to say what you said, that it's irresponsible. I was just questioning what you meant by that.
Okay, well,
I didn't know whether you were having a go at me for doing it.
Well, I kind of am having a go at you.
But I don't know why. Why are you having a go at me? You don't understand. You're not gay. You don't get... I feel like it's different. Like, obviously it's...
But it doesn't... Fine, but I guess I don't know that, but...
Well, you do, because when did you ever get sex education about gay sex at school? You didn't.
Well, no, fine.
No one gets that.
But so that's not... You're
teaching yourself, and you're like learning this whole thing for yourself. So I think it's a bit mean to say I'm being irresponsible. Because although, yes, you're correct, it's a little bit deeper than just being like, well, that's fucking dumb, isn't it?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I
don't expect you to say that, and I'm glad you do. It tells me that you care about me a lot, and that's great. But it's a little bit aggressive to just shout that at someone. And yes, of course, there are young people listening, but I'm not suggesting it's the right thing to do. I think the right thing to do is to talk about it.
Yeah.
And have this conversation.
Sorry, obviously, to have a go. Didn't mean to actually have a go.
No, it's fine. No, it was just like, you just turned into a bit of a dad. We don't have good sex education.
No.
For gay people. Like, that just doesn't happen. Like, and even at school for straight people, probably. Like, is it not just like, here's how you make a woman pregnant? It's not like actually useful information in terms of like actually having sex. It's very much, I see it as quite Christian. It's like, this is why you have sex.
Yeah.
It's not you have sex for fun and pleasure. For me, it wasn't. It was like, you're having sex to make a baby.
That's why in America, when in certain red states where they sort of conservative groups try and shut down like sex education, those states end up with very high like pregnancy rates and everything else, you know, high levels of STDs and all the rest of it. Because that's a worldwide problem, isn't it? That sex education is just awful.
Yeah, I don't really understand why that is. It seems like a like shooting yourself in the foot, really, in
Yeah.
terms of like the cost to the NHS
Yeah.
in this country. Like, why would the government not want to?
But you've picked up from somewhere that, obviously not at school, but somewhere along the way, you've picked up the fact that if you have unprotected sex, you're putting yourself at risk. You've picked that up somewhere,
No,
right?
of course I know that,
So you
yeah.
obviously got that in your head.
Yeah, I did know that, yeah. But it's awful that we have to think we're going to die just when we have sex. And that's the problem with having gay sex, for me anyway, is like it's always associated with like so much fear.
Yeah.
Like even when I came out to my mum, it was immediately like, oh God, he's going to get AIDS. But
Yeah.
that's really unfair. But that's sort of what society, I think, puts, or certainly for me, has put on me, is like if I'm gay, I'm actively choosing to have this risk like
Yeah.
that. It's so sad that we've lost like so many amazing people to this virus. And in countries like Russia, they just ignore and think isn't a problem.
Yeah.
Even now. And we're really lucky here, and America, I think, are very good with support for people with it and without. But yeah, so the next part of that story is I immediately got off a plane in London and went straight to A&E. And I was like, I need to take PrEP, which is post-exposure prophylaxis.
Right.
And basically, it's drugs that you take after you've potentially been exposed to HIV.
Yeah.
And you take them for like 30 days, twice a day at the same time. And it was so awful. I spent the whole of December being so like run down and concerned about my health. And it really was not at all worth it.
No.
Like, I think it has a different effect on everyone, but for me, it just made me feel like I had a cold the whole month.
Yeah.
And then, of course, because of those symptoms, you start thinking you've actually got
it.
Yeah. And by the way, we should just say, like, drugs now and everything are amazing. So even if you did have it and you were under, like, people actually say if you have HIV and you're taking medication, you can now be so undetectable with it that you wouldn't pass it on to anyone if you did have sex with them.
Right. Okay.
So you're safer having sex with someone that knows their status and is on HIV medication and undetectable than you are if, say, for example, because I don't know what your status is, we had unprotected sex right now. That's actually less safe.
Sure.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've now completed the PrEP treatment, and they've now put me on PrEP, which is the treatment you take as a kind of like protection from it. So basically you take that once a day and you're 83% protected from any risk. But they're like, you should still use a condom because it doesn't protect you from any other diseases. How do you feel about condoms?
Well, they're great, aren't they?
But having sex with condoms, do you not have a difference between...
Yeah, but also there's a difference between having a kid and not.
Yes.
That's quite a big difference.
But have you...
And I'll go with that difference, do you know what I mean?
So you wouldn't trust a girl to say they were on the pill?
Well, it depends who it was. But not a random girl, no, never.
Oh, really? So every one night stand you've ever had, you've always used a condom?
100%.
Really?
Yeah. If I've got that idea in my mind, if I did it, I'd end up with a kid.
I had a relationship with a guy for a while and we stopped using condoms. But then he cheated on me. So I had to have all these tests. And I was quite young then. I was probably 21. And that was really scary.
No, I can imagine.
And then I think ever since then, I guess I haven't really trusted anyone probably since that.
The one time I've had a checkup, I was terrified.
The one time?
Yeah.
The one time you've had a checkup? You've only had a checkup once?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because I've had like 50. I don't know.
But I'm not having...
Not 50, but like definitely a lot.
I'm not having unprotected sex with multiple partners.
But it's not even a question of... I mean, that's just the difference, I think, between us. Like, straight bang, like, straight away. That's the crazy difference. I've had so many...
But why do I need to
sexual
go
health tests.
if I...
Well, I mean, every time you... Like, just because you haven't had your dick in someone without a condom, you might have had it in her mouth. So you could have contracted something from that. Or... Vice versa, I don't really know, but like you could have ended up.
I think I've had two actually.
Great. That's still nowhere near the amount that I've had.
Well, I've obviously been with the same person for like...
No, I know that, but that's just still so insane to me that you've only been once or twice.
I was terrified anyway. I'm terrified anyway, by any time
that's exactly
set
it,
foot in a hospital, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it is terrifying, so I don't know why we do that. But I think it's right that we should be allowed to. And you must be aware of how PrEP is here in the UK, because in America you can get it on your health insurance. So everyone seems to be on PrEP. But here, it's only available in Scotland and Wales as part of the National Health Service.
Right.
They're paying for it. but England isn't, because the Daily Mail, I guess, came for the government over it. Did you heard about that?
I haven't heard about it. It's not surprising.
Well, basically, they're like, why should gay men be allowed to... And actually, there's so many gay people in the community as well that think PrEP is really wrong. I told my friend that I was on it, and he was like, oh, great, that's my money going towards your sex life then. That's disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I actually
fucking stupid thing to say.
I can't believe he said that, actually, and I'm really happy I just remembered.
How is that any different from condoms being available in the NHS, which they are, by the way, if people don't know that. You can get them from your doctor. How is that any different, or has he got beef with that as well?
I don't know, he's not here. So yeah, his argument, I suppose, is why should the NHS be paying for gay men to have unprotected sex and be sluts? That's rhetoric I've heard from the community.
Right, but equally, why should the NHS pay for the effects of people not being sensible?
So my first argument back is, why should the NHS be paying for people with smoke addiction or drinking problems, liver failure? Like, the NHS is paying for all of those things, so you can't have that argument about gay men. And I was also saying, oh God, I find this really hard to talk about. I also said to him, like, for me, it's not a case of being like, oh, I'm going to have unprotected sex. And in fact, actually, the only time I've had sex since being on PrEP, I've used a condom still, which is ridiculous. But it's more like
Why is that ridiculous?
Well, I just think it's crazy that I would happily have unprotected sex, not being on it, but then suddenly now that I'm on it, I'm like aware. I don't know, it's just really strange.
Yeah.
It's no longer something that can harm me. And I'm hoping that I actually enjoy sex more now, rather than think of it as a big thing. Surely
now, if you're faced, surely you'll be like, wouldn't it not occur to you, you'd be like, well, I'm not going to do that again because it was such a bloody palaver.
Absolutely. That's exactly how I feel. I felt really uninterested in sex for so long.
I'm sorry if it was uncaring, because I really do feel for you, because I would have lost my shit if I thought I had it. And it sounds like if I thought I was susceptible or whatever, if I was gay and I thought I had HIV and I had a cold, I would go ballistic. I'd be like, oh my God, I've got it. And I'd also be like, in sort of 1980s, it's a death sentence mode as well.
I know, right. That's
so
exactly how it feels.
I really, really do feel for you.
There's so much stigma towards people that have it, and actually it really shouldn't be the case at all.
No.
It really isn't a death sentence. Like, it genuinely isn't.
But it was.
It was, and we still remember that, and we've lost so many amazing people because of it. And it still is in a lot of countries in the world as well. At least it means that when I'm in a relationship with someone, if I want to, I can choose to be unprotected, knowing that I trust that person, but also knowing that if they do something stupid elsewhere, I've protected myself.
Yeah.
Because ultimately in life, you always have to look after yourself first. And it's not okay to put your life in someone else's hands in that sense, I don't think. So that's why I think the NHS should be paying for it. And I'm now taking it on an NHS trial in England. So they are trialing it.
Two unlikely friends take on the world.
Oh, I have to tell you what happened when I picked up the medication. When I picked up PrEP, I got to the window, and there was this old lady in there.
Right.
And she literally went, oh, God, there's been loads of you today.
Loads of what?
Exactly, but I didn't ask. I guess she meant, gays. I guess she meant gays.
We should have clarified, really.
What, and said, what do you mean, gays?
Yeah.
God. Anyway, so I was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, I'll be back in a minute. And she disappeared for ages, like she was making it. I don't know why prescriptions take so long. What are they doing? Why do they...
There's a lot of checking, isn't there?
Is there?
Yeah, there must be.
And then she comes back and she's like, here it is. And honestly, it's 3 months worth. So there's a lot of packaging.
Yeah. So you're well prepped.
And she said, that's a really bad joke, Dan.
Well, I'm trying to find the humour where I can in this in this episode.
Okay, well, it's coming. Although I've picked this up now. So bless her. I mean, I probably shouldn't say bless her. I told my housemate, and he was really angry. He was like, "That is not how the NHS. That is not how they should behave." Anyway, so she's like giving me the medicine, and I'm about to leave, and she says, "Wait, did they talk to you about this at all?" And obviously, I'm like, "Well, yeah, of course they did. It's a trial. Like, you don't just get given it to you speak to someone." She's like, "Well, you should know that it makes you fart."
Right.
That was it.
Okay. Is that the payoff?
She sent me on my way. Yeah, that's the payoff. But it's a very long story.
Okay, well.
I was so mortified though, Dan. And also, why would a drug that is protecting you from HIV during anal sex have a side effect of giving you wind?
Well, because I don't know, why wouldn't it? Loads of things do. What happens if?
Do you know what
what happens if you're getting,
right?
And that happens.
That's my concern.
Has that ever happened? I don't mean not in the face, but have you what happens if some bloke's having sex with you and you do that? What happens? Or is that not possible? Not just what
do you mean?
A gay man.
Are you saying if he's inside of you?
Yeah.
Well, hang on. This happens to women as well. So you must have had this happen in non-gay sex.
Well, I haven't. No, that's why I'm asking the question.
You've never had a girl. You've never, for want of a better term, you've never had anyone fanny fart.
Yeah, that's different.
Is it?
It's not the arse, is it?
No, isn't it the same thing though?
No.
It is the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Why isn't it the same thing?
Because it's literally not the same thing, is it?
It is.
It's not the same as
It's the same effect though. If you're putting wind in something, then it's going to come back out, isn't it?
It doesn't. It's not. That's just a noise. That one.
Right.
As opposed to...
What does it sound like? Oh my gosh, what does it sound like?
It sounds the same, but it doesn't... it's not the same, is it?
Oh my God, but what kind of sound? Is it more...
You know exactly
is it more high-pitched?
No, it's the same...
But there are different types of that noise.
Well, yeah, that's an impossible question.
Is it like a long one or a short one? Is it like a... Or like a...
You're asking the wrong person, really.
Why?
Because you want to ask a woman, don't you?
I guess so. Okay, fine.
But... Let's get back to where I was.
What am I answering?
I was say if some dude's got his cock in your ass,
right,
and you fart, what happens?
Nothing.
What do you mean nothing?
Well, nothing.
Or is that not possible?
I really don't know how to answer. I mean,
try.
What do you need to know? I mean, you don't follow through, do you? Because you've already douched. See episode gay questions. So,
although is that?
I don't know.
That's all.
I mean, this is such a weird. I don't know what you're asking me. It's just
you know exactly what I'm asking you because I've just asked you in layman's terms.
No, you're saying what? You're not. I don't know what you want me to say. What did you expect to happen? You just fart, don't you? I suppose I haven't done it.
Okay, fine.
I haven't done it.
That's all I wanted to know.
I don't fart ever.
Okay, fine.
Do you?
Get in touch
this
anyway.
This is so gross. Why are you getting in touch about what? I feel so... I'm more mortified talking about farting than I am any of the previous things we've talked about in this episode so far.
Right.
That's more embarrassing to me.
Why?
I have no idea.
It is what it is, James.
No, I hate it.
It's better out than in sometimes.
No, stop it.
Bums.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you want any more information about any of the issues that we discussed in this week's episode, look at the Terrence Higgins Trust in the UK. They are tht.org.uk.
The Terrence Higgins Trust have loads of info on PrEP, HIV and sexual health advice, tht.org.uk. Plus, if you're interested in getting PrEP, you can buy it in the UK if it's not available on the NHS in your area at iwantprepnow.co.uk.
Find us on your socials at Gay NonGay. Listen at gaynongay.com or just search NonGay at your fave pod app.